The Galactic War Tribunal's chamber stretched across 3 kilometers of polished obsidian, its crystalline walls reflecting the bioluminescent forms of 12 species that had ruled the galaxy for millennia. At the center sat the human, Dr. Elena Vasquez, looking impossibly small in her simple gray suit amid the towering alien dignitaries. Ambassador Kethvar of the Zorathian Empire leaned forward on his 4 chitinous legs, his mandibles clicking in amusement. You dare claim protection under galactic law? Your species has existed in our domain for barely 3 rotations. You know nothing of our ways. The assembled tribunal erupted in what passed for laughter among their respective species. Harmonic vibrations from the crystalline Veltar, guttural bellows from the reptilian Drakens, and the subsonic rumbles of the gas giant dwellers known as the Nephilim. The sound was deafening, alien, and dismissive. Elena remained seated, her weathered hands folded calmly over a thick, leather-bound volume that looked ancient even by human standards. She had gray streaks in her black hair, and lines around her dark eyes that spoke of decades spent in archives and libraries, rather than battlefields. "Honored Tribunal," she said, her voice carrying despite its quietness. "I request permission to present evidence in humanity's defense. High Arbiter Zephlon, a being of pure energy contained within a shifting geometric form, pulsed with what Elena had learned was the equivalent of condescending patience. Speak quickly, human. Your planet's fate was decided the moment your primitive vessels entered Zorathian space. We convene this tribunal merely as a formality." Elena stood, lifting the heavy tome. "I wish to invoke the primordial codex of galactic sovereignty, specifically citing the doctrine of precedent species and the right of historical jurisprudence." The laughter died instantly. Kethvar's mandibles ceased their clicking. "Impossible. Those laws were abandoned epochs ago, when the first civilizations ascended beyond physical form. No one remembers." Section 147.3, Elena read aloud, her voice now filling the vast chamber. "Any species demonstrating evidence of pre-existing legal framework recognition shall be granted full territorial sovereignty over their native system, provided said species can demonstrate understanding of galactic jurisprudence through recitation of no fewer than 12 primary statutory provisions." The silence that followed was absolute. Even the ambient hum of the tribunal's life support system seemed muted. Arbiter Zephlon's form flickered rapidly, a sign Elena recognized as severe agitation. "Those codices were sealed in the Great Archive of Andromeda. They have been lost for 1,000,000 cycles." Elena opened the book, its pages rustling with authentic age. "Lost to you, perhaps, but humanity has always been collectors of knowledge." She cleared her throat and began reading in perfect high galactic, her pronunciation flawless despite the language's 7 distinct tonal variations. Primary Statute 1. The doctrine of spatial inheritance. Any species achieving faster than light travel through indigenous technological development retains sovereign claim to their originating system and all uninhabited worlds within a 12-parsec radius. The Veltar delegation began, resonating in panic harmonies. Elena continued. Primary Statute 7. The right of defensive action. No species may be subjected to territorial annexation without first being offered formal diplomatic recognition and a minimum grace period of 1 galactic standard year for cultural adaptation. She looked up at Kethvar specifically. "Your empire invaded Earth system 6 months ago without any attempted contact. You also failed to offer the required grace period." The Zorathian ambassador's exoskeleton actually clicked as he shifted nervously. "How could you possibly know these ancient laws? Your species has barely discovered space travel." Elena smiled for the first time since entering the chamber. "Ambassador, humanity spent 12,000 years on one small planet. Do you know what we did with all that time?" She gestured to the book. "We studied. We preserved. We remembered everything." She flipped to another section. Primary Statute 11. The accountability principle. Any species engaging in unlawful territorial expansion shall forfeit all contested claims and provide reparations, equivalent to 3 times the estimated value of damages inflicted. High Arbiter Zephlon's form had stopped, flickering entirely, the equivalent of shocked stillness. "This is unprecedented. The Codex has not been invoked in over 1,000,000 cycles. The legal machinery to enforce these statutes may not even exist anymore." "Oh, it exists," Elena said calmly. She withdrew a small device from her jacket, a communication array. I've already transmitted copies of the relevant statutes to every minor species in this galaxy. They're quite interested to learn about the doctrine of colonial reversal and the right of historical reparations. The implications hit the tribunal like a wave. Every species in the chamber had built their empires through expansion and conquest. If these ancient laws were suddenly enforceable, Elena continued reading. Primary Statute 15. The Cascade Protocol. Successful invocation of primordial codex by any species grants automatic legal standing to all species similarly situated, with retroactive application of all protective statutes. Ambassador Kethvar actually stumbled backward. You've just legally armed every conquered species in the galaxy. I've reminded them of rights they always had, Elena corrected. Rights you made them forget through force and intimidation. High Arbiter Zephlon pulsed weakly. Even if these laws are technically valid, who would enforce them? The old enforcement mechanisms were dismantled eons ago. Elena closed the book with a soft thud that somehow echoed throughout the chamber. That's the beautiful thing about law, Honored Arbiter. It doesn't need enforcement, it needs recognition. And now, thanks to my transmission, every species in the galaxy recognizes these statutes. She began walking toward the chamber's exit. Humanity withdraws its request for protection. We no longer need it. Under Statute 1, Earth system is recognized as sovereign territory. Under Statute 7, the Zarathian invasion is declared unlawful. Under Statute 11, reparations are due. Her footsteps echoed in the stunned silence. Oh, she added, turning back one final time. And under Statute 23, the right of educational disclosure. I'm required to inform you that humanity has preserved copies of approximately 47 other, lost, legal codices. We'll be happy to share them with any species interested in historical jurisprudence. As Elena left the chamber, the sound that followed wasn't laughter. It was the panicked chittering, harmonizing, and rumbling of 12 species, suddenly realizing they had underestimated not humanity's strength, but something far more dangerous, humanity's memory. The war was over before it truly began, but the legal revolution Elena had just sparked would reshape the galaxy for epochs to come.